What is up, Gamer Army? Welcome back to another fun-filled, exciting episode of Psycho Gamer, where today we are going to have gaming talk. Yes, gaming talk is something that I'm just going to start doing where we're not going to really be talking about a lot of news when it comes to Arcade1up, but we are going to maybe talk about some speculation on something that's coming up this coming Friday from Shaq, or as you know, I'm Shaquille O'Neal. We're also going to talk about a couple of the different levels of arcade cabinets Arcade1up is releasing. So maybe they should name them or title them something specific so that people are able to get an idea of, hey, this belongs to this group, this is a higher tier, this is the highest tier. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe, guys. We're going to talk about that right after this. So stay tuned. Be right on back. All right, welcome back, guys. Now, like I said, we're going to talk about some stuff that somebody brought up in one of the Facebook groups about there technically being three main categories that they should really come up with when it comes to Arcade1up. And I want to actually give a shout out to Ignacio Valadez over there on the actual Arcade1up page. So what is it that he brought up? Well, he brought up that there is technically a budget-friendly version of the cabinets. There should be another category for, obviously, your regular and your legacy lineups, even though we already know much about these things. Not everybody knows. And then you have your pro lineup. Now, what could you be getting in the budget line? Well, we are familiar with them already releasing many cabinets in about your $299 range, which sell really well, but people are going and having to buy things like risers, or they want to buy a stool, you know, something along the lines of that. I think with them releasing this Pac-Man or Super Pac-Man cabinet, and also the Mortal Kombat 3 or this Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 cabinet, I think this could really shed light on a new series of cabinets that they're going to be coming out with in this, you know, $400 to $450 range. Now, they are going to be a little more watered down, like the $299 ones. You're generally looking at the cabinets that don't have anything. It's just basically the cabinet itself. But that's great if you're getting them for a kid or if you have a stool to sit on all the time. Us adults, we are a bit taller and we are, you know, a bit more picky when it comes to the video games and arcade machines that we truly want to actually play. Look at many of the Pac-Man games that are out there. You're going to find them on Craigslist. You're going to find them on Facebook Marketplace now for about $200, maybe $250, and they are just the cabinet themselves. I think the risers are big selling points. So if they're going to really put these cabinets out there at your $400 to $450 range, I think really all they got to do is your basic ones. I'm not talking about the ones that have the light guns, the blasters, and the sit-down cabinets, you know, things like that. I'm talking about just your plain Jane cabinet with a riser. I think your $400 to $450 range is really about what the industry standard is going to start being when it comes to some of these cabinets. Now, do I think they should upgrade a couple little things? Maybe a backlit marquee. The light-up marquee would be nice to have. But all those other bells and whistles they like to toss on there, like the control deck having light-up lights and black lights and all these other crazy things, it's really unnecessary. So I think if you shed a lot of those things at the $400 to $450 range, I think a lot of people are going to be much happier and much more willing to put their money out for that. $299, great, but I think that these cabinets really needed to have the riser come with them so that people could have the option rather than going to go pay, you know, another $50 for a generic Arcade1up riser. Have one that is actually made for those particular cabinets. Now, the next lineup that you could be looking at would be your regular or your legacy lineup type cabinets. You know, you look at your Terminator 2, you look at your Simpsons, your Trons, Ridge Racer, you know, things like that. These are those kind of games that are going to fall in that particular category. Why? Because they actually have more to them. You know, you look at Tron, look at the workmanship that actually went into that, other than the joysticks having issues with breaking because the little metal piece isn't high enough in the actual joystick. Yeah, it may leave a little room for people to want to do mods, not necessarily repairs, but mods to these cabinets to actually make them a little bit better than they truly are. Do I think you should go out there and pay $700 or $600 for the Simpsons arcade? No. There are still many sales going on right now through Best Buy and Walmart and Amazon and GameStop. And, you know, you might even find some of these cabinets on clearance. I saw somebody post on Facebook earlier today that you could go get the Simpsons down in Texas, I think it was, at one of the Walmart's clearance for $350. So there are sales out there. You just have to be in the right place at the right time. But $500 to $700 range, that could definitely get the cabinets with the stools, the backlit marquees, all the bells and whistles, all the light up stuff, having your Wi-Fi connectivity when it comes to these games. And I'm not talking about just in scoreboards. I mean, that's kind of a stupid little thing that they add in there just to kind of make everybody feel that they're getting their money's worth by spending an extra $50 to $100. Yeah, scoreboards are cool, but it's really not adding that much value to the actual cabinets. If we want to add value, we'll get ourselves a whiteboard and we'll put Aubrey's arcade or, you know, Mom and Pop's arcade in there and keep track of your own scores. You know, especially if you got a lot of friends and family, make yourself your own Facebook group and challenge each other. That's how it was done in the arcades. Why do we need the internet to keep track of those scores? I know it's because we can, but hey, I'm just saying. Now we're also going to have the pro lineups. You know, you got the Killer Instinct coming out. You got the Golden Tee Golf coming out, or Golden Tee 3D, I'm sorry, that's coming out. And you were looking at your $900 to $1,000 plus range. I could see them even going as high as $1,200. Now that's where you're going to have your much bigger screens. You're going to have the better controls. You're going to have the better audio. You're going to have pretty much better everything when it comes to these cabinets. They're even going to be taller. I wouldn't even go so far as to call them 3/4 cabinets anymore. They're going to be more like a full-sized cabinet. Now, for the price you're going to pay for them, I really hope they do justice for these cabinets in terms of putting the right components in there. I mean, do we really want to have, you know, Sanwa buttons in these cabinets? Yes, we really do want to have those Sanwa great quality controls, great quality buttons. We want to have, you know, JBL sound systems. I mean, will they be that? Probably not. But we want to have those upgraded sound systems where it doesn't sound like you're listening to the audio coming through a tin can or through a little speaker that's like about this big. You want to actually have maybe a 3-4 inch speaker or two when it comes to these and get that stereo sound quality. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that these would be 3 great categories that maybe they should start promoting on their website or maybe even in the stores on their boxes? A sticker is all it will really take. It doesn't have to say budget line, but it can say, you know, great deal or greatest hits or, you know, something to that particular effect, just to make people want to get these games because they know they're getting a great game at a great deal. So, you know, that's just something that you could really look at. Now, one of the other things that I posted today, I ended up posting a little survey on my YouTube channel here. So we're going to switch over into my computer real quick. We're going to look at it because it's kind of all over the place. And that's great. I love seeing that kind of stuff. All right, so the poll, this is, as you can see right here, which game would you like to see Arcade1up release in their pro lineup? So we had 17 votes, which is actually pretty good in just the few hours that I posted it up here. Now I posted Marvel vs. Capcom 2, NFL Blitz, which could also have NBA Showtime in it also, Tekken Tag Tournament, Star Wars Trilogy Arcade, and other, and just asked people to post a comment. I had one comment which basically had all the above and then some. So Marvel vs. Capcom, near and dear to my heart. Great fighting game. I think it would be a great addition to the pro lineup because you're going to have the great controls. Now, what games could go with, obviously, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, your Street Fighter games. I think the Alpha series would be really good. Street Fighter Alpha, maybe even Night Stalkers. I think the Night Stalkers is more your consoles more than anything else. I made a post the other day, Tatsunoko versus Capcom would be another great fighting game. There were so many great fighting games that you could really put out there that it's hard to say what would be good to toss on there. Now, could Marvel vs. Capcom 2 be sold by itself? Yeah, but no, you don't want to do that. You know, if you're going to be charging $1,000 for these games, I think that this is something that you need to go big or go home when it comes to these particular cabinets. NFL Blitz. Now, that's something that's rumored that Shaq is going to unveil on Friday with Shaq's Funhouse, that it's a good possibility that the NFL Blitz NBA Showtime cabinet may actually be something that's going to come to fruition when it comes to Arcade1up. Now, it's a matter of licensing, not just for the game, but licensing from the players, from the NFL Player Association and the NBA Player Association. I don't remember what it's called. I don't know if it's called that or not, but when it comes to the groups, the unions that are basically talking for the players, it's a matter of getting those. If you look at the NBA Jam cabinets, there were players that were actually missing from the game because they didn't want to have their faces licensed to be put in another game, or they just couldn't procure the licensing for those particular players. So Tekken Tag Tournament, I think if you could get the Tekken games in there, Tekken Tag Tournament would be an amazing title. I mean, any of the Tekken games. I mean, you could technically put it in there with your Marvel vs. Capcoms. It won't happen, obviously, because, you know, talking different companies and such. But I think if they could land Namco to allow them to put Tekken Tag Tournament out there on one of these cabinets. Now, that's if their cabinets could actually handle it. Now, from what they're saying, these pro cabinets are going to be stronger, so it's a matter of whether their equipment can actually handle these games. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, their equipment's gotten strong enough, I think they should be able to play it. Now, playing the arcade ROM or playing the Dreamcast ROM would be, you know, that would be kind of a toss-up when it comes to it. But obviously, this is an arcade game, so arcade version of it is going to be the best one to go with this. As well as maybe if there were any kind of cheat codes to unlock more people, because not everybody's going to have the time to unlock it, and they're not going to keep it open all the time. They're going to lose all the characters again unless they have some sort of way to save the game to the actual cabinet. I guess you kind of can, just like the cabs that are out there. But last one that I posted was the Star Wars Trilogy Arcade. Now, that game was a very fun game. Now, it was obviously a very 3D game, and it was a very graphic intense game back when they actually released it. I actually played this in the arcade. I've gone to Dave & Buster's and played it. I've played it in regular arcades, and some had the small screen, and then you had the other ones that had the much bigger screen where you could actually sit in the cockpit. So it was actually a very, very fun game. If you haven't played it, go out there and check out some gameplay footage of it on YouTube. I think that you'll be surprised at how good it will handle, or how good it will stand up to many of today's current games and action-adventure games, not just arcade games in general. But now keep in mind, we are talking about a game that's about 15 years old, 20 years old. Don't remember the exact date, but I know it's not a very new game, because I used to play it back when I lived in California, and that was well over a decade ago. So go check it out. If you have a local arcade that's still around that might have it, go check it out and play it. So that's pretty much going to do it for today's Tech Talk, Game Talk, whatever you want to call it. I appreciate you guys coming and checking it out. If you do have some feedback you want to give me, post it down below. I want to hear what you guys are saying. I want to see what games you want to have them release in their pro lineup, not just regular. I'm talking the pro lineup. Now, all those games I talked, they could release in the pro lineup, or they could release in just your regular standard lineup. I think the NFL Blitz, NBA Showtime cabinet, it could be one that they release in like your $500 range, maybe $550 range. It's a matter of the cost of the licensing and all that fun, fancy stuff as well. So, but I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear down below. But on top of that, I would love to have you like and subscribe so you know when my other videos are coming out, because I'm trying to do more videos, as you can tell, guys. Now that I'm better from having that nasty COVID virus, I'm trying to get back out here and do more videos for you guys before something else happens to me or something else happens to everybody. It's just, it's life now. Unfortunately, that's how we have to live it day to day. So, but again, guys, I appreciate all you coming out. I do all this for you guys. And I'll see you soon. And don't forget to game on.